So if you just bear with me out there, while I get myself together here. And I know where are you all? I'm in the US, so it is still morning for me. And while I've had my coffee, it's still like, so if you can, I don't know who's here, just say hi. I always like to just make sure that everyone is here, and there you go. Let's see. I want to see everybody. Everyone. Okay, I see Dice is saying hi. Where's everyone else? There you go. Okay, great. So I'm seeing more people there. And good morning. Okay. Or good morning or good afternoon or hi, Mara, and everyone else just joining us. My name is Jenifa Mayanja. And I'm going to say that again a couple more times. And so just get used to hearing that. I'm also using my computer. So from time to time, you're just going to see a lovely side view, which is always thrilling. But that's technology for you. We just have to work with things and adapt. And that's what I'm doing. So sometimes if you just see me looking the other way, don't be alarmed. It's just because I have to share my screen, because I took the time to make these nice, fancy slides for you so that you can keep up with what's going on, and also just kind of keep you like connected to what this is about, what we're doing, what I hope comes out of it for you, what the general objectives are. So yeah, sometimes you need that like visual tool to be able to like just to keep track of what's going on. So I'm now going to start sharing my screen, and I'm just kind of like talking a little bit to see if a few more of you show up, just so if you do show up later, you know what is going on, and hopefully you can still catch up and get something out of this. Okay, so I'm going to just going to start sharing my screen here, and let's see what happens. Okay, so okay. All right, there I am, and here I am, and I don't know why. So no, I can't see myself. Okay, so this is a mentoring incubator micro edition, and I say it's a micro edition because normally when I do a mentoring incubator, it's something that would take a while. It's something that is best done like on an ongoing basis. So you're able to start a situation where you build relationships, connections, trust. So today we're really doing like just a really small example of an incubator, and just kind of give you a taste of how this works, and hopefully we can do some work together, and hopefully we can build enough rapport to get something productive for you all, and just see how it goes. Okay. As I mentioned at the top of the hour, my name is Jenifa Mayanja, and I'm going to go back into that in a second. I just want to make sure that, okay, that might be a little bit better for you all. And, oh, we love this black screen. Okay. Of course, your microphones are muted thanks to the wonderful world of system settings. Be present. I know it's difficult when we're doing these kind of virtual things. Your mind wanders. You want to check your phone, yada, yada, yada. I totally get it. But this is the type of thing where you really get more out of it if you are engaged with it. So I just hope you can be an active participant. An incubator just works better when everyone is kind of invested in it and everyone is working together. So if you don't want to show your camera, that's okay. That's not required. But, you know, by all means, share in the chat. And when I ask questions, there will be questions. Participate in the questions. They're going to be some fun things, some icebreaker things, or really participate. Let your voice be heard. Everyone is important. Be respectful, of course, if there's points of view that you don't agree with. And, you know, this is a safe space. You know, not that it needs to be said, but I'm saying it anyway. One of the things that's really important about any type of workshop and the type of workshops I do is not to make assumptions. So I don't assume just because we're all here that we're on the same page, just because we might all be creative, that we have the same approach or we come from the same background. So I make no assumptions. And that just makes life easier for us all. We can start on the same page, okay? Okay, it just works better, I guess, when I come out like this. I don't know. Okay, so one more time. My name is Jenifa Mayanja, and I don't know now where, okay, there we are. There I am. Great. Okay, so I'm a music producer, label owner, vocalist, mentor, coach. I could add more titles to that, but that's not what we're here to do. I do put these labels there in particular because these experiences, these parts of myself, are what have led me to what I'm doing right now. So those experiences I've had as a music producer, as a label owner, as a vocalist, as an educator, as a mentor, as a coach, is what has built this experience that we're doing right now, this mentoring incubator. So I'm showing up today as a sum of all these parts, but I'm also really showing up today as the mentor, which is sort of your guide. And so that we're able to build this bridge, able to connect, able to find common ground and move forward together. Okay. Okay. So starting off with this idea that I just said right at the top of not making assumptions. Who knows a little bit what an incubator is? Like, what is your experiences with an incubator? If you can just drop something there in the chat for me, like what? Yes, absolutely. You can unmute yourselves. Unless there's like something going on in the background that you don't want, by all means, you can unmute, you can show video. And okay. All right. Don't worry about me doing weird stuff. It's just like, uh-oh. I'm having fun here. There you go. Great. Thank you, Danny K, for dropping something there. Don't mind me when I'm doing all this stuff here, okay? Just like keeping it pretty informal, okay? And incubators are gathering to share ideas. Absolutely. Totally. Definitely a place where you gather ideas. And, you know, I've put my own things there as well. And it is a safe space. Yes, Sarah. Yes, absolutely. For things to grow. Yes, I love these. Absolutely. Yes. So that's great. So again, I'm not making those assumptions that we are on the same page with that. Obviously, we're coming from different experiences. And so I've taken that into account. And so you're all correct. And you see, I have my own definitions there. Of course, the safe space, new ideas. I love that. Okay. So we already are finding the common ground, which is very important for an incubator to really do its job. So yes, we are growing ideas. It's a safe space. We are experimenting. And all of this is done under the guidance of someone that hopefully has a little bit of experience to be able to make sure that things work the way that they should. Specifically, I love these, a place for growth and development. I love these. Awesome. So this is great, right? So like we already can shelter vulnerable things. Oh, these are fantastic. These are great. So I love this. So we're already building bridges together. We're already connecting. And so we're already finding common ground, even though we're all coming from different points of view. They're intersecting. And so that already excites me that we're going to have a really nice, productive time together. All right. So very specifically, what is a mentoring incubator? That's something I developed on my own. That doesn't mean that other people are not doing it, but it's something that I thought about over the time of doing what I've done for so long, for more than 25 years. I thought, what's something that can kind of like help other people while also bringing my experience and knowledge to other people. One of the things that I've found when I work one-on-one with people as a coach and as a mentor is that oftentimes we're working by ourselves. We're creating by ourselves, which has its uses. That's all really great. But there is that point where you would love to be able to just, commune with someone else that's understands what you're going through, that can just give you maybe another way of looking at things. But sometimes not everybody is on the same level. You may be friends with somebody, but they're not going to quite get what it is you want them to give you. So I found this a lot in my practice working one-on-one, that people were looking for some kind of a way to get a more structured place where they could actually really get that sort of like targeted feedback or targeted support or guidance, very specific, and from people that uniquely understood what it was like. So that's where the mentoring incubator came in, a very specific type of incubator. Sometimes they're incubators for businesses. This is really about guiding. And I created a framework that informs my approach and gave it a really fancy name, right? So it's called the 3 C's. It's built on these 3 concepts. And so the concepts are consistency, connection, and considered communication. I'm going to explain those a little bit further on in the workshop, but it's just important that you know how this is built, like what I'm building this under, because there are many different ways I could come in, but this is the point where I'm coming in. Okay. All right. So I have already kind of talked like a few minutes, and the incubator, for it to work, we have to continue sort of engaging together and just find out where else we have commonalities. We've already, just from the top, from me asking about the incubator, we found out already just some very nice, juicy information about each other. So now we're going to do an icebreaker. it's kind of serious, kind of not serious. Okay. I want you to take it like with intent, but I don't want you to take yourself so seriously. Okay. So this is a visualization. Again, I'm not going to make assumptions, but has anyone ever done a visualization? Like, you're aware of this concept, what it's about? Yay, nay? You can drop something in the chat there if I can get to the chat. Ooh, the chat. Okay, you know what's great? Let's actually go here. Don't know what you mean. Okay, so let's explain some more. What is visualization? It really actually is just what it sounds like, right? So visualization is a training for your mind using imagery. So imagine that you thought of an emotion. Okay, give me an emotion. Let's say you thought of determination, right? And you said, you know what? When I think of determination, if I was to assign it a color, I would assign it yellow, right? So visualization, when you visualize, you can tell yourself, like, I want to be a more determined person, right? So I'm going to, every time I think about, like, I'm determined to get something done, I'm going to connect it to a color. And I'm going to put that color somewhere where I can see it all the time. Maybe I put it where I work. Maybe I put it by my bed. I print out a yellow thing, or I get a yellow flower, or I get a yellow piece of cloth, something that I can look at, so that every time I see that, I connect that thought to my mind. Like, okay, I want to be determined. I want to be determined. Yellow. I want to be determined. Yellow. And you train your mind. And then wherever you see yellow, you're like, oh, that's what that reminds me of. Now, this is not just some concept, like, not grounded in reality, okay? Maybe you guys have heard of manifestation. Who's heard of that concept? We hear that a lot, like manifest happiness, manifest, who's heard of that? Manifestation. Yes, all the time, right? So this is something we hear all the time, manifestation. Well, that's grounded in that, okay? Manifestation is actually grounded in that. Yes, yes, great. In psychological terms, it's actually called actualization. So have you ever heard, like, right, if you're thinking about something is like bad is going to happen, right? And like you kind of get obsessed with it, like you're amplifying that, and something definitely could happen bad because you're hyper focused on that. Oh no, I don't. I do. I would drop a resource. So one reason that I like doing visualization is very powerful, and maybe I will drop some resources about that. It's something you can really put in your life very practically right now when you want something. It can be something very small, like, I want to be calm, or I want to get this album done, or I have, I want to make this connection with this person over here. You can really use it for anything, right? And actually, a lot of successful people, high performers, athletes, they use this to kind of like plot out, like, these are the steps I want to take to complete this race, or to win this tournament, or whatever it is. All kinds of people use visualization. So it's a very real concept. It's scientifically grounded and proven. It works, but you have to really be mindful of that, because you can amplify what you want, but you can also amplify what you don't want. There is a book, a very famous book. It's called the Law of Attraction, the Laws of Attraction. Maybe some of you have read it, seen it. Maybe you've seen someone quote it. Very famous. Some stuff in there is works for some people, some stuff doesn't. So what we're going to do is a very small version of a visualization, okay? And that means that I'm going to give you like a little work, a little assignment, and to get this done. So you have instructions, and I don't know, can you see the instructions there, everyone? Okay, hard seeing. Okay, great. Sorry, I have to always keep going back to my computer so I could see and then come back to my phone. Blah. Okay, so, and now like I'm probably in the way with this stupid thing. So let's move that over there. Perfect. Okay, so for the next, let's see how we're doing on time. Okay, yeah, okay, so we started a little late, so we may just only do this exercise. I'm not sure yet. All right, so we're going to try this maybe for 5 minutes. We're going to visualize the goal, okay? Now, stay with me on this. We're going to just kind of keep the parameters of this very narrow so that if you've never done a visualization, you can stay focused. It's kind of like meditation, right? Who meditates? Does anyone meditate? Yes? No? All right. I'm trying, but it's so hard. That's where I'm getting with it, okay? So when you first start meditating, you're like, oh my God, how do people like meditate for like an hour? Like, it's horrible. I can't even like keep my mind together for like 1 minute. But if you start to accept that meditation is hard, that it's tough to calm the mind, you get better at it. And you start small, you start a minute, you're like, oh, let me just be here and accept whatever the thoughts that come. So this is the same as visualization. If you've never done one, you're going to be like, this is sort of like ridiculous. But that's why I'm going to keep it as a practical exercise. So for the next 5-10 minutes, I want you to, first of all, just think of a goal. The goal can be related to this workshop. You can say, I have a goal to learn how to do constructive feedback better, which I'm going to tell you what the goal of the objectives of this particular mentoring incubator are. But you have a goal related to this workshop or a project that you want to happen that hasn't happened yet, or a project that has happened and you want to take it to another level, or just a very particular aspect that you want to improve on. Whatever it is, I want you to just pick one, okay? Make it small. Let's start out small. And what you're going to do with this on a practical level is I'm going to have you go on, if you're on your computer or on your phone, you're going to collect some images. You're going to think about the goal. We have time. I know you have time, but unfortunately, I don't have time because I have already another meeting after this. So I scheduled X amount of time, but thank you for that. But we will get through all the most important stuff today, right? So I'm not concerned about that. I want to make sure that we really have a good, productive mentoring. So what I want you guys to do, ladies, everybody, whoever, everyone, that create it either, if you're on your computer and you're really good with, like, let's say Pinterest, I want you to collect some images. Are you all aware of like a vision board? You ever done a vision board? It's fun. It's like when you used to do a collage. I don't know if you all ever did collages in the days before there were computers and stuff like that. You just collected clippings of things that you liked and you put them together, right? So, so I want you to, yes, okay, there you go. Right, I knew you all were tech savvy. I'm probably really not as tech savvy as you are, but again, that's assumptions, which I don't want to do. So you're going to get together like a Pinterest or even just the Word doc, a Google doc, and you're going to collect a series of images to represent a goal. You're now going to tell us the goal. That's going to be the fun part. That's going to be the icebreaker part. We're going to, after you finish, you need to share it here. All right. You need to share it. You need to drop a link here so that we can all look at it and then we can guess. What is the goal? What is the objective? What is it that you would like to happen? So pick the thing that you're comfortable with. This is not about perfection, okay? So let's not go in there and be graphic designers. This is just like collect a series of images, put them together on one thing, and then drop it in the chat. Okay. And then we'll go through the chat. And this is the part where you really are going to have to participate. You know, everyone can guess. You type, oh, I think your goal is about this. I think your goal is about that. I already made mine. I cheated. I already made mine because I had to. So is there questions? Put the questions in the chat. Like, what am I doing? I don't understand this assignment. Like, what? What do you mean? Drop your questions in there. I don't like, if you don't understand, like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, explain this to me again. No questions? If there are no questions, then I'm here, right? I'm gonna mute. I'm gonna put a timer for maybe like 5-6 minutes, and you can go off in your world if you're on your phone or your computer and just put something real quick together. But before you do that, right, where should we do this? Do this on whatever is easy and comfortable. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. That's good questions. Can you send a screenshot? Yes. The main thing is that everyone here should be able to see it. So if you're feeling a little bit like vulnerable, like, oh, I don't know who all these people are, I don't want to share so much about myself, you decide, right? So you decide what is comfortable for you. This is not like, oh, now we all have to be open with each other. Like right now, you don't know me, I don't know you. We're not making any assumptions. Just focus on the goal. Like I talked about the color, right? So if I said yellow meant determination to me, I could like just put together images that have yellow and drop it here. Okay, does that make sense? Anyone else have questions? I need to set the timer. I do not have the timer set. How about that? Okay. How long? How long for this? We're gonna do this for about 5 minutes. Yeah, I mean, like you have 5 minutes to go off. Like you can go off and do this. You have 5 minutes. I'm gonna be here. I'm just like watching the time here. But it would be great if everyone does this. Because that's the only way that we're going to just do this together. This is like not, okay, that's perfect. Put that there. So I can see everyone. And okay. So I'm muting myself real quick here. Be nice if I could play some music for you while you're doing this, but let's just see if that's gonna work without it being loud. Muted myself. Okay, I would say you probably have maybe like 2 or 3 minutes, and then just drop what you got, and let's see how it goes. Oh my. Actually, while you guys are all doing that, I hear a lot of commotion going out outside my window. So I will just kind of turn off my video momentarily, and I will be back in 1 minute. Okay? No, 30 seconds. Oh, I see a thing here. Oh, oh. Oh, maybe that's a message just for me. And just share the window instead of your whole is blocking the slides. Yep. Okay, so let's stop the share. And okay. Is that better? I don't know. Is that better? Is that better? No? Okay. We are almost, we can still read. Okay, so I have actually put from my side here, I can see I can see everything going on here. I hope what's going on in the side there is actually not that important. It's just there's nothing there. But I'm hearing that you all are not seeing the all the slides. What I'm trying to do is to be able to basically keep up with the chat. It's difficult to keep up with the chat on a phone. But anyway, so it's 10:53. Well, 10:53 for me. For you all, I don't know what time it is. So let's stop the exercise now. And I would love to see what you have all. I don't know if it's possible to share a screenshot in the chat. Is that possible? Mara, is that possible to share? I think maybe has sharing been disabled for participants? Is it possible to share? Well, if you save the screenshot as like an image, like a JPEG or a PNG, something like that, then you can share it, or you could share your screen. Has sharing been disabled, by the way? Can I get an answer on that? Is people can share their screens? Okay. We're going to enable screen sharing for everyone. And it should be obvious that we're just kind of just sharing for the purposes of the icebreaker and at some point, maybe it will have to stop, but if we'll make things easier to get this project done, if you're doing a screenshot, that's great. All right. So let's see what everybody's got. All right. Why don't you just drop some stuff here in the chat? I'm on my phone and I have a screenshot. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it, Nima. Let's see what's there. And let's try to guess. On your phone, can you drop it? Drop it like it's hot. You can speak, Nima. Of course, when I'm thinking about all these things, I'm not thinking about like what on your end technically you'd have to overcome. I have no idea. Again, I can't make assumptions about what's there and what isn't. I see someone, if it's okay, I'd like to say private. Sarah, yeah, of course. I mean, the incubator is for each one of you to get what you want to get out of it. So, Sarah, if that's fine, that's what you want to do. Again, it works better if we all can find some common ground, but I'm totally okay with that. Okay, so Nima is sharing something. Who else is going to share? I only see one share. I'll show you mine. You can guess what it's about. It was pretty straightforward. I made it in like probably 2 minutes, just to give you an example. So while we're waiting, let me just show you mine, and you can write your responses in the chat, what you think my goal is. Okay, so can you see mine? Hopefully the chat's not blocking it. Can you see mine? Yes. Is the chat blocking it? I see it. Okay. So what are your ideas? What do you think my goal is? It can be anything, whatever you think. Peace, nature, community, love, enlightenment, clarity of vision, imagine utopia. Okay. Okay, you're not far off. The Care Bears, obviously, psychedelics. That's definitely not the goal. But a group retreat, that's funny. So the Care Bears is about community, and my goal was to create community. So I thought, like, this is a funny, image. It's like, but Care Bears are cool. So Care Bears is about community. You see where everybody's connected, okay? And the second image is about that balance between that like higher self and grounded, so you see a little bit of that sort of that consciousness opening up, and then the hands out together, like, okay, but it has to be sort of like grounded in reality. And the glass is about, of course, being able to see beyond, or a future where all of these things are working together, where there's the community, where is that higher self and that groundedness in reality, and everyone is looking forward. Okay, so so you just learned something about me without me having to get too personal, and it really wasn't necessarily about me. It's more about my goal. And one of the things we're trying to achieve with the mentoring incubator, with in particular the thing that we're going to work on today, is about depersonalizing certain things, which seems like a contradiction, but you're going to see why I'm going to say we need to depersonalize. All right, so having said that, having seen that, does anyone still want to? I can't share my screenshot via phone. Okay, so I sent to Dice. Okay. we never know with these things. It seemed like a great idea, an easy idea when I designed this icebreaker for people to be able to just kind of like find some random images and be able to put them there. In a regular incubator, we would just actually take the time and close our eyes and try to get in that kind of like that space and go together there, but we just are not in that zone. Okay, so moving on, let's get into the objectives of today. Okay, so this mentoring incubator, like we talked about at the start, can be about anything, right? It could be about an idea, it could be about a business, it could be about whatever. Okay, just you're trying to grow something, you experiment with something. Our mentoring incubator today is about constructive feedback, right? So what are the thoughts that you hear when you think this word constructive feedback? What comes into like your immediate reaction is what? What's your immediate reaction when you hear constructive feedback? Nothing? You have nothing? You have no thoughts? Feedback that helps you improve things you can change. That helps you improve things you can change. Okay. Okay, so that's positive. What else? Developmental, easy changes. I try to adopt and see if it works better. Okay, so surprisingly, most of you not designed to hurt, designed to help you grow. Oh, I love these. Okay, so this is great. So we're actually already have gotten a lot of like nice information about each other. And again, going back to feedback that understands you and where you want to go. Oh, wow. Feedback, hard or easy, changeable or not, meant to improve something. It's great. So, again, not trying to make those assumptions, but already finding that the entry point where we're coming in is actually very similar. Like we're all sort of kind of on the same page. We understand that constructive feedback is supposed to do something positive, not deconstruct, construct, because when we construct, we build. So the objective here, of course, is continue and building on that. And since you all already have like a positive view of it, it should be easy to just do what we're going to do, right? Who's had feedback that wasn't constructive that you felt was like, this is not quite what constructive feedback should look like? Who's had that? Where you're kind of like, no, this is not it. Have you had that? Unfortunately, yes. Okay. Yep. 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 Me too. Me too. Me too. I've had it quite a bit. Tons. Oh no. Sorry to hear that. Okay. It happens. Yep. It does happen. It does happen. It totally happens. And this is why it's important for all of us to be able to like know through and through. It's kind of like a relationship, right? When you've had enough good and bad relationships, right? We talk about those red flags when you know something is not good. And then there's also now white flags where, or whatever, it's green flags where, oh, this is how I know something is good, right? Green, go. And this is how I know something is bad, red, go. So that's really sort of like where we're at with this mentoring incubator today, to know like, yep, this is when I know this is actually constructive feedback, the way that I see it, the way it should be done, right? Because we're like all coming in different places. There's no one way. But certain things should be like ticking off, like, okay, this is good. And certain things should be going off like, oh, no, this is not good, right? So the objective is for us to reclaim that idea of constructive feedback, reframe my thinking and feeling about giving right? So we've received it, but also learn how to give it well, right? So give that feedback well, recognize what constructive feedback looks and feels like, and practice giving and receiving constructive feedback. So our mentoring incubator today is focused on that, constructive feedback. We're going to give some, we're going to receive some, and hopefully there's some of you that are open to that can put yourself out there and have something that we can talk about and do something and model this and do this. I'll model and my approach and we can see how that goes. Okay. So let's go back to these 3 C's that I talked about earlier, about that consistency and connection and considered communication, right? So the way I look at it, and you could have your own way, and there are many other ways. It's like, first I need like the building, right? I need the building, the way that I can kind of put my idea together. So this is why I came up with the 3 C's, consistency. So I talked about this as a framework. And, when you think about consistency, it can bring up a lot of different connotations, but for just the purposes of the mentoring incubator, the 3 C's is about, the consistency part is about showing up with clear intent, right? So showing up all the time the same way, so that when you're doing a constructive feedback, I'll give you an example. When I was teaching in Berlin at a place called Catalyst, where I taught first year students, and this is where I kind of really honed this idea of constructive feedback. And my students understood the way that I showed up consistently as a person, what my approach was, how I would deal with them in terms of listening to their work. So I consistently showed up the same. So they had the same expectation. Like, if we go to this class and we're getting constructive feedback, it's going to be given a certain way. So when you're learning how to give it, right now, we're going to deal with the giving. You're giving that, you have to be able to show up a certain way all the time so that people know, oh, if so-and-so is giving constructive feedback, this is how they give it. So it makes people comfortable, right? So what makes us uncomfortable in life? When we don't know things. That's really what uncomfortability is, like the unknown. So you want to make things known. And how do you make things known? By being consistent. So that's why I put that into my framework, consistency. The next thing is connection. And this is what I've been trying to build all morning with us here. Well, my morning, your evening or afternoon, is that connection is, we can't really work together if we can't find that common ground. It's hard to just kind of walk into something and start doing constructive feedback out of the blue. Like, where are we together on this? So connection is very important. And that's what I've been trying to do today. It's very important for people to trust and to feel like they're safe, so that you can give and also you can receive. And considered communication is really just about one thing I'm going to model today, and I'm modeling even right now as I'm talking to you, is to be very selective about the words that you use and how you use them. Okay. Who relates to this? Like, you've said something and then you're like, oh man, I didn't really mean to say that, because when you see how the other person has received it, you're like, oh, I should have picked a different word. Who can relate to that? Said something that you wish, like, oh no, and now I can't take it back. Because once it's out there, right? Like, you're all done. Totally. Okay. Yes, I like that. Okay. That's another way we're connecting, right? So don't feel like connecting is about, I'm going to find out every single thing about you, or everyone here is going to find out every single thing about you. It's just about us just, again, trying to build that trust within each other in this very small time, and finding that commonality, right? So the words that you pick matter when you're talking about constructive feedback. So you really have to take your time. And after you finish, just have that pause, that minute, and let the person know, like, I'm taking a moment because I just want to make sure I say the right things so that you're able to really get my message clearly, that it's a clear message, that is coming from a pure place, that it's not about my own personal opinions. It's really about the work, right? Okay, so along with that framework is some other parts, some other things that need to kind of go into the house, right? So I put it here in order for the house to become a home, right? So you can go get an apartment, but like until you start to put your stuff in it, it's not your apartment, right? So when you first get a new place, it's just like a place. It's like walls, and you love it, but it's not your place. So you have to make it your place. So this is what these additional elements that are part of the framework are for. So positive reinforcement, right? Who likes to hear like, hey man, good job, or person, good job? Who likes to hear that they did a good job? Or who thinks that's kind of like, I don't want to hear that. That's not genuine. Who likes positive reinforcement? I know I do. Who likes that? So you're looking for the good. Yes and no? All right. I'm into it. Yes. All right. But only when it's sincere, meaningful. Yeah, of course. Absolutely. And that's the thing. That's one of the things that we're going to get into with constructive feedback. Like, has to be meaningful. So like, if you can't, makes me more self-conscious. Okay. All right. And you're not going to get too much. Sometimes it can be a cop-out. No feedback is harder. Feedback, no matter which one, is nice. Okay. All right. So this is good. I'm trying not to make assumptions about where we're coming from with this. Like my ideas of what positive reinforcement, like people are trying to get away with not being honest. Okay. Interesting. Okay. I accept where you're all coming from. This is great. And again, we are connecting here because we're learning that there is so many different ways to look at the same thing. Okay. Now, for me, as someone that is involved in mentoring and coaching people, for me, positive reinforcement is like amazing, right? It's just something that I do. I do it. I don't even think about it. I just do it. I love to encourage people. I love to find the good in anything. Like I can find the good in whatever, like a piece of bread. Oh, it's, I'm just trained that way. It's just the way that I am. And I don't just do it for people. I do it for myself. Who's heard of that? Positive self-talk. It's like that concept, positive self-talk. Have you done that with yourself? Positive self-talk. Don't know it. Okay, that's great. I'm not making the assumptions. So that's basically like, have you ever I don't know, you forgot to send an email, or no, something more, just maybe something common. Currently trying to learn. That's the opposite of okay. So positive self-talk is just basically, instead of like just saying like, you probably don't even think about it. You just did something random and you're like, oh, just so stupid. You're so stupid. Oh, that's so dumb. You're so dumb. Or instead of depersonalizing it, just saying maybe you made a mistake, like, oh, that was a mistake. You come and tell yourself like, you're so stupid. How could you do that? That's negative self-talk, right? And you're not realizing you're doing it, but you're programming your brain to kind of formulate this identity that you're stupid. Thinking about how would I speak to someone, like if they did the same thing, like if they did negative self-talk, that's more of like advanced techniques, teaching people to, like, I would say, why are you so dumb to a friend? No, you wouldn't, because you'd be a terrible friend. That's what we call them now, toxic relationships, right? We have so many like catchphrases for everything now, but we wouldn't, you would say it. Okay. Now, having said that, like I may hear my children say things like that to other people. Like they say it, but it's not as impactful for them. It's just, maybe it might be just like a way of being funny, right? So context is important. But if you're saying it to yourself, again, if you were saying that to your friend all the time in a way that was not a joke, even just saying it all the time, you're still programming. You're still programming that person to believe a thing about themselves. So imagine that doing it to yourself, because you're doing it all the time. So it's just kind of like, you can tell yourself like, hey, you know what? You did a great job today. You're an amazing human. You kept your calm in a very difficult situation. You're amazing. And just say, yeah, you're amazing. That's not an untrue statement, because some people can't keep calm in a difficult situation. So you have to take that and say, that's great. Is that being dishonest with yourself? It's yourself. Like, you can be dishonest with yourself, but like, isn't it better to say you're amazing than to say you're dumb? Like, what sounds better, to say you're amazing or to say you're dumb? Okay, so that's the concept of positive self-talk. And that took a long way around to talk about positive reinforcement, but I want to make sure that we get some understanding of what I mean by positive reinforcement. Now, positive reinforcement in terms of constructive feedback is important, because you have to find something good to say, and something that's honest, and something that's genuine. And whatever that's going to take for it to be genuine is something you have to do. Okay. So shared values, that's the next part. What shared values are important to us in our work? So values can mean different things to different people. As we're finding out, something like positive reinforcement, we've had already a lot of different opinions about that. But shared values can be very simple things, like we all care about other people's feelings. We all care about people showing up honestly and talking about honestly about a person's work. Whatever those shared values are decided by the community. So today, the community that we're in, we're finding out different things. We're finding out we may have some common things. We're finding out we may have different ideas about one concept, right? So we haven't really quite decided yet what are our shared values, but I can say probably we all care about developing ourselves, because we wouldn't be here. Would that be true? Would that be fair to say that? A fair assumption that we all care about personal growth? Is that true for everyone or not? 100%? Okay, whoever agrees with this statement I just said, say yay, I agree, or no, not quite. I don't really care about personal development. Not really. Again, I don't make, yes, good. Not making assumptions, but totally great. Yeah, good. I think that's almost all of us, right? So we must care something about personal development, so that we can go with that. We can roll with that. So that's a shared value, right? And then community building, all right? So I talked about one of the reasons why I started doing mentoring incubators, and just finding out, talking with people one-on-one when I do mentoring, that, yeah, people are fine working by themselves. And definitely in the pandemic, we've had to work alone. But there is those moments where we're like, yeah, you know what? It'd be great. It'd be great if I was just sitting in a room with some other people that also understand what it's like to make art, and just do this all together, and just talk, and just get that energy, and get that vibe, and get things going. Okay, that was a nice, fun echo there. I don't know how that happened, but it did. Okay, so this would be the time when, all right, again, this is our last little exercise, and then I'm going to model the mentoring incubator. We're going to do some constructive feedback. I'm going to show how I would do it, and then I want you to start to think about if you have something that you want to share. I'll give you a few minutes to go find something. I mean, some of you said you're on your phones, so I'm not quite sure how that's going to work. We'll see. Again, I'm never sure what are the technical challenges or the way that people are showing up into a workshop. So we just have to um, adapt and keep moving. And this is really an annoying thing that keeps showing up. Okay, who knows these two characters are on the screen? Who knows who these two Elmo's friend. Okay, that's good. Elmo. Okay, that's good. Yep. All right. This was a funny, hilarious thing that went on online, and it went viral. It's I don't know if you all know this terminology of a beef. That's basically like a long-standing rivalry. And so this is a funny character, a meme, so to speak, of these two people. So we're going to this is our last little thing. We're going to try to see if we can just, again, find some common ground. So the object of the game is to find out what we have in common and use that to form a basis of connection. We've already found like certain things that we have a shared value of personal development. We found out at the top that we had some other ways that we could find some common ground. So this is the last way that we're going to try to build this connection together. And then we're going to go into some modeling of constructive feedback. Okay, so there should have been a poll. Let's see if it pops up. Okay, so the object of this thing. Okay, so all right, so we're going to pick. Hosts and panelists can now vote. No, I want to vote. Okay, so you're going to pick from these categories, and let's just see from this the things that show up the most that we're interested in. Okay, so you get to pick 5. Okay, wait, can I pick? Oh, I think I can pick. Okay, oh, but it's in my screen. Maybe I can't pick. All right, so this is very super quick. All right, just what are the 5 things that are interesting to you out of all of these categories? All right, so the only things that were left on this earth, and just pick something from this, like make a game out of this, or this is the only things you have access to. Just pick 5 things, and let's just see at the end what is important to everyone out of these 11 categories. Okay, there's no context here. There's like, what happens if I pick nature? There is no special prize if you pick nature. It just means that you're very interested in nature. Like if you were going to pick from these categories, nature is important to you. Or, I mean, location. Again, I'm not giving context because it will just take the game in a different direction. So this is just super random. Just let yourself go. Let's just see what comes out. Okay. Okay. I have like 1,000 chat things going on here. Okay. Can we see the results after we do the poll? Okay. Memes. Oh, wow. Memes got 83%. Okay. Can you all see the poll on your end? Yes? Okay. Who's surprised by these results? Memes are important. Okay. Music artists, of course. Okay. Film. Location is low. Emojis. Personal qualities. Kind of attire. Relaxation. Animals, not so much. Fears, of course. Not so much. Who wants that? Memes and music got a high rating. What do you all think? I'm surprised you didn't get. I know. You all don't like relaxation? 50%. Okay, I would love some shares. Why memes? Who loves memes? Why? I'm just curious. This is how we learn. Again, there's no context to this at all. I didn't put any context. Like just want to see what happens. You can write or you can talk. You know, I really would love to hear some conversation. I haven't heard not one voice. I wish I'm like this. Why? You know, I understood. Can I share? Let me share real quick with that about memes. I only really understood memes when I was teaching. Again, when I was teaching a couple years ago in Berlin, I finally really understood memes and just how nuanced they can be and just how much they can express a feeling. Because before, I mean, I'm in a different generation and it was kind of like what's the big deal? But you know, students really started expressing and discussing just how meaningful memes were to them and just how much they could say with one thing, all these feelings and happiness and depression and anxiety and fun and jokes. And I was like, this is a whole language. Um oh my God. I went to about yes, doom scrolling. Obsessed with memes and scrolling. I don't know. I guess memes make you feel like people get you. Yes. And this is what I learned. I learned this. Like I didn't get it for a long time. I didn't get it. And then I got it. And then I started like, oh, okay. There are too many memes. You can never be up to. I know. That's what I also learned. So like today I was trying to put some memes and I was like, oh yeah, they're gonna put in there and they're gonna be like, that's so last week. Like, come on, that's so last week. Yeah, I know. I mean, I will never be good at that, and that's totally okay. It's not for me. Memes help you communicate with people. Well, yes, 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 absolutely, in a low stress way. What helps you to build a meme? Like, what are you thinking about when you're building a meme? Like, do you make them or do you just share them? How does that work with you all? Okay. Um, occasionally make, mostly share. Share many multiple. Really? Just lurking at me. I'm like with the just lurking at memes. Like 99.9. I've made some. Yeah. Okay. Uh that's awesome. So like the second category, which would make sense, is music artist song. I mean, I think have chat groups with no real content, just memes. I know I've seen that. When something hits me, I have to drop together to get one together. Yeah, I've had that, but then like I just ruminate too. I just think about it too much, right? Because the point is not to think about it too much, right? Just like in the moment, just like put something together just to communicate something quickly, right? Is that the point? See, I'm learning, and I can readily admit, like I understand it now, but I'm still not good at like just making it happen, right? Oh, I don't even know what that was. Okay, so music artist song memes make life feel simpler, more digest. Some of them can cook for a couple of weeks. Okay, good. I'm learning, and I'm also while I'm learning, you're also learning, right? So that's how you build like that connection with other people. I mean, again, we have no context. We have no idea what type of memes we're into, but at least we have like a very on the top layer, we have something that we can like share. We can like sort of agree on. Let me pick one more category, which again is not that surprising, but so curious. Film. Why film? Who wants to share something about film? I see emojis didn't get that high either, but why film? Who wants to share something about film? More TV shows. Okay. All right. Why films? Is someone talking or because you can talk, that's fine. But I think like films are pretty. Okay, films are pretty. I like that. I actually have written a lot of music watching films with like just the subtitles. I turn the sound off, and I've created a lot of interesting things just watching films. They're actually really inspire me. And if I watch a really, really good film, I could really make some like really great music after. Like somehow it just like elevates another part of my creativeness. So I really, really enjoy films, a good film, of course. Okay. All right. Okay. So that was fun. It didn't necessarily need to have like an endpoint, just really some stuff I should throw in the background. Yes, I do that a lot. Okay. Okay. So again, this was just an exercise and just getting us to loosen up and just make those connections with each other. So now we're going to get into some actual feedback. Okay. And based on what we talked about in the beginning, most of you, all of you had something positive to say about constructive feedback in terms of like what it should do, what it should feel like. And so that's great. I have a step-by-step way also just to make it that much more easier, just kind of distill the formula of just making sure that it actually happens in this way. It should start with a genuinely positive comment. And I'm going to clarify that positive comment about the work. Feedback should never be about a person, should never be about you need to do that, you could do that. It should be the work. You could do this with the project. You know, you always want to just kind of remove that, just makes sure like you're not personally hurting someone. Because the first thing that happens is, as human beings, when we feel we're under attack, what do? We can either shut down, we go into that fight or flight, we get defensive because we want to defend our ego. And so all these things just shut off the stuff that could be coming in that could be helpful. So you just kind of want to remove from the person and just keep it about the project. And then 2 is you want to focus on 1 or 2 areas, right, where you feel you have something meaningful to contribute. That could be a very small thing. If it was a piece of music, it could be you focus on the effects. You focus on the rhythm. You focus on a hi-hat. You focus on the title, right? But you have to be genuine. And so that keeps you genuine about it, right? So again, it also takes you back to that framework about considered communication. Remember, I talked about that. So as you're listening and you're going through whatever you're going through, processing in your own processor, you're thinking, okay, what is the area that I know from my own lived experience? And what are the words that I want to pick to really bring the point across about the work, right? Only about the work. And then you have to offer a suggestion with a concrete example, right? So you have to give the person something to work with, you know? So after you've said this thing, like, okay, well, you might try that, or you might add this. So you want to leave the person with like a contribution, an addition to what's there. Okay, your job is not to say I like this, don't like. It's not about your opinions. It's about giving somebody something that they can think about, mule about, that they might want to add or not add, but it's like a gift. You want to give them a gift, right? Think about it as a gift. And you want to wrap it all up with a nice positive comment. It's important that the stuff is genuine. And so what keeps it genuine, if you're focused on the work, is going to be honest. Okay. So some of you, when I talked about positive reinforcement, you were like, oh, sometimes maybe I don't like it. I feel it's not honest. If it's about the work, it's going to be honest. Okay. It's always going to be honest. So that's one way to do that. Right. So now I'm going to model, right? I will tell you the artist later just to give them some credit. It's an up and coming producer. It might get loud. I'm just gonna mute myself, and it's a very short track, and I think it's like 1:50. But when I turn over to the slide, it's just, I think, gonna go on instantaneously. So I'm gonna let the music play, and then I'm gonna give my feedback. Okay, we're good? Do we understand what we're doing? Say yes, I understand. No, what the heck are you doing? Hey, talk to me. Yes, I get it. Great. Danny gets it. I understood. Yep, great. Max. Who else? Yep, good. Excellent. Great. Awesome. All right. So here we go. Let's see how this all goes. Hopefully it's gonna work. Hopefully it's gonna work. Uh-oh, it's not working. I hear nothing. Your screen is very pixelated. No, screen. Oh, okay, it's okay now. Okay, I think it's the visual. Okay, I don't know why this is not working. Okay, if it gets loud, let me know. I think it's gonna be loud. Why is it not playing? Oh, man. Okay. I don't know why it's not playing. It's supposed to play automatically. I don't know. So you plan things a certain way and then they don't do anything. We tested this earlier and it worked just fine. And now it doesn't want to work. Okay, do you hear any sound? I don't hear any sound. Go away. I don't know. Why is this not working? It worked just fine before. Not anymore. Oh, you were hearing something. How come I can't hear anything? I don't hear. First there was something. I don't hear anything. Did you check? Oh, it's back. So, okay, I'm dummy. Well, you know what's funny? I don't hear it. This is funny. Okay, it worked. Okay, so I'm going to model a little bit of this and So what would I tell this person, right? So let me go back a little bit to the framework. So I'm going to start with a positive comment. And one of the things that I would say, if I'm sitting here talking to the artist about the work, I would say, like, I really enjoy how it's immediate. There's no subtlety, it just comes right in. So it immediately wants my attention. Then I'm going to focus on one area that I would say, because it is so immediate, you might want to think about maybe having a part 2 where you have this very immediate thing, and then as a nice counterpoint to have this totally not immediate thing that's very subtle. So you have 2 parts, which could be interesting for the listener. But as it stands, it's really great on its own. So if you want to just keep going with that, it's great. And I think that people that really enjoy this type of music are going to get a lot out of it. Right? So what I just did there is I didn't have to make up anything that I didn't believe to be true. I do like the fact that, like, when the artist comes in with this song, like, I like the way the music just kind of like just grabs me, right? Immediately, like, it wants my attention. I don't have to love it. I don't have to like it, but immediately it's saying to me, like, I want your attention, like, right now. So that I want to focus on. I don't have to focus on any instrumentation. I could, like, if this was a longer thing, I could sit there and talk about, oh, I really like the way you did this one part of the song, or I like the way there was that sample that was kind of looping through and through. But really, all I have to do is just say, I like this one thing. This is why I like this thing. This is what you could add to this thing if you wanted to. And once again, I really like what you've done. Is there any questions? Does that make sense? Yes? No? It makes sense. Good, Danny. Great. Anyone else? All clear. Great. Makes sense. Got it. Great. Okay. So now it's going to be your turn, right? Since we at the top, when I asked about constructive feedback, all of you gave fantastic answers about what it should look like. So this doesn't seem like something that is new to everyone. And even the model I just did, I'm not saying it's like a brand new approach. All I'm just giving is giving a step-by-step direction of how it should be done. So what I would love to see is this step-by-step process mirrored back. So I'm going to put another song. It's the same artist. I'll tell you the artist when we're done. And I'm going to play the whole thing again. And when we're done, I'm going to give you a pause. And then I want to see, since we're not talking, we're not verbal today, I want to see everybody's like step by step. If you were asked to give constructive feedback to this artist, what would you say following this step by step process? Okay. So I think I understood what went on the last time. I needed to put the headphones on because I think I had, yeah. So let's see if this works. All right. So it's on you now. It's your job. Oops. Okay. Okay, work. Please work. And it doesn't want to work. Oh, there it is. Oh no, what happened? Okay. All right. Okay, so it's your turn now. And I'm dying to see. I'm going to put the framework back. And so I want you to just be thoughtful for a moment. And just think about what would you say using this framework about this work. And then you are welcome to either type it, or if you are okay, you can say it, you can speak it, and we can all hear. But I would love to see how you interpret these steps and give this artist feedback about this work. Okay, the image is pixelated again. Oh, it's probably might be internet. Better. Okay, I think it's when my connection gets weird, it does that. Okay. All right, I'm curious. I'm waiting to see what happens here. What is the feedback? What is the constructive feedback you would give this artist about this piece? Anyone? Are you typing? I don't type that fast either. Ah, okay. Thank you. It is a lot to type. Well, we can make it simple. I don't feel confident enough as a musician to give constructive feedback. Could give career advice, but not musical. All right, Sarah, can I just empower you to feel confident as a person that I can make the assumption, and maybe I could be wrong, as a person that loves music, would that be true about you? That you don't have to be an expert. It's not about expertise. There are things in your life, great. There are things in your life that that you may not feel comfortable about, but you have an opinion about. All right. So this is really just saying, I like a thing. Okay. I like a thing. And so I'm just kind of like making this just simple, ground zero. And I think what I find when I was teaching, that a lot of people in the beginning were kind of shy, felt like, who am I to say something? You know, who am I? And you are a person that has an experience. That's who you are. And so that experience doesn't like take away, it adds to. So you have something to say. You have something to say about other parts of your life. So really, you can say something as someone that loves music. You don't have to be an expert musician to have a constructive feedback. You can tell a person, hey, I like this thing because this is why I like this thing. And I can say something about this because, hey, you know, as a listener, the work inspires me in a certain way, or I would love to hear more. That's a positive comment. You don't have to be an expert to say you want to hear more of something. So just to give you that empowerment, Sarah, that if you're asked give constructive feedback, that there are no degrees in constructive feedback. Okay. You don't have to be an expert. You just have to start, and you have to start somewhere, and you have to just believe. Okay. So here, let me look at one. So you start with a genuine positive comment. I love the intro, the subtlety, and how it draws you in with a minimal sound. Okay, so that's good. You start with a positive comment. Focus on one area. I think the intro could start even slower and even draw out even more gradually. That's great. You offering a suggestion with a concrete example. I think it will add to the effect of the building composition. Okay, so you've added in. So that's great. You've started with the parts that you love. You've focused on one area and you've added up with something that is like positive, like it will add to what I already love. This is something like, as an artist, you're going to look at and say, wow, like, oh, you just gave me something to think about. I can actually think about this. It doesn't mean that I'm going to necessarily implement it, but I'm going to, like, okay, I'm going to think about that. All right. That's great. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. Great. I love the timing of this track, the way every element is given space to breathe and really ring out. Great. Started out with the things that you love. Okay. Now you focus on the area. I feel like everything is coming through with sort of the same intensity and could benefit from wider dynamics. Good. Okay. So you're focusing on certain areas. Some of these samples could be pulled down further into the mix, even if they're getting brought back up again later. Okay. So you're giving them some concrete suggestions. I feel like that would add a lot to the sort of staging and drama of this track that you already have going. That's amazing. I love that. Now, if I was an artist and I got that, I'd be like, for me, I would be over the top, okay? Because, of course, the first thing that you zone in, right, is the positive. We're going to run it like, oh, and then later I'm going to come back and digest because you've already given me a lot to think about. Again, it's not about that I'm going to actually implement all those things, but it's going to make me think about it. I'm going to think, I was like, maybe there is something to that. That's something that I can actually take right back into the studio and think about and try out. Okay. And so that is great. I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sarah. I really appreciate you putting yourself out there with this. Okay, you started out with something really nice, very pleasant, relaxing, atmospheric track. Great. Start with something positive. Now, here's where you go. Maybe more variation than dynamics could be good, or a tonal shift. Okay, good. Add contrasting elements to the composition. Great. Step 3, beautiful, thought-provoking piece. Look at you, Sarah. Look at you. Okay. I'm proud. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you doing this. I know you didn't feel so comfortable, but that was perfect. That was perfect. I love that. Okay. So that's what it looks like, right? So you all are awesome. Thank you so much. Like, if that was my piece and I got all of that, I would be over the top and I'd be like, wow, you've given me so much. So much. Again, it's not like I'm going to implement all the suggestions, but you've given me 3 totally different ways of looking at the same thing, right? So how did you think about that? What did that feel like to do that? Did that feel awkward or you felt good about giving that constructive feedback? How did that feel? Good, bad? By the way, before I forget, that's the artist, okay? I think it's difficult if it's not your area expertise. Maybe not. Felt nice. I'm kind of happy. I like that, Rocket. I'm kind of happy too, and I'm not the artist. Okay, there's the artist right there. Let me see if I can draw. If you want to go listen more to this artist stuff, you can. Let me see if I can. Okay, that didn't work. Oh, I don't even know. Okay, well, I kind of felt like I was going to put that there, but that didn't work. There's the artist there. You can find them on Bandcamp. And let's see if I can copy that in the chat. If you want to go explore, it's up to you. There you go. Okay. It's hard to come up with thoughtful feedback on the spot. It is. And that's why I said to give you a moment to just kind of like think about it, like just think about it, because it's not so much about giving. I think that the pressure is like, oh God, I have to give this whole like essay about the work. But if you naturally just focus on one aspect, you can make it as tiny as you want, or you can make it as big as you want. It just makes it easier. You're really just saying like, okay, let's think about like food, right? You can give a quick review of a piece of food, an item, a dish, without even thinking about it. You like it, you don't like it. It's too hot, it's too cold. It's delicious, it's not delicious, right? You don't think about that because you do that all the time. You're constantly making those like, you know, those feedbacks about something. So this is really like constructive feedback in an ideal situation in anything. It doesn't matter if it's in music or it's film or you create events or whatever. Like you want to make it natural where you can just easily like focus on something really quickly that you're drawn to, right? We all have things we're drawn to. Some of us are drawn to the dynamics. Some of us are drawn to the tone of the thing. Some of us are drawn to the overall experience. And we all have things that we dive into. So if I want to use that metaphor of a dish of food, for instance, when you're eating something, there's something, some flavors that you're attracted to immediately that help you quickly decide if you're going to love it, you're going to kind of like it, or you're going to hate it. Is that true? Right? Again, I'm not making assumptions, but that's how it could work. Okay. So look, we're actually sort of like coming in the time, and I have to also run off soon, but I would have loved to hear your work, and maybe you would have felt comfortable with that, maybe not. But you did a great job today, and if it's possible, I would love to see if I can like copy all of this situation. Thank you. I do. Okay. So let me just go over here real quick before I forget. So I'm going to do this mentoring incubator. Is like one of my favorite like signature workshops, and I'm going to expand them and do them more and also just make them longer. So reach out to me. Okay. So you see that there, you can write to me, coach at the Music Life Mentor. Go to this website here. Let me just drop this thing so maybe you guys can like copy this, or maybe let's see. So you can write me here. Let me type here real quick. Music Life. Whoops. See, I don't type fast. I'm sorry. Okay. You can write me there, or musiclifementor.com, or do the usual stuff. Follow me on my socials, Jenifa Mayanja, and yeah, and follow the workshops, because I do these. I do them regularly. I'm going to do them more in the summer, and we're going to focus on different parts, not just constructive feedback, right? So we can do other things that need that sort of like space to grow. But thank you so much. This was awesome. It always seems like, oh, it's going to go really fast, and then you just keep like going and going, and you're like, oh wow, it's like much later. But thank you. I really appreciate you all doing this, and I know that I asked a lot of you in a very short amount of time, but I really appreciate you taking the time and being here, and I hope this was useful in some way for you all. And yeah, bitteschön. And thank you. Okay, bye until the next time. Please reach out if you would like some more constructive feedback on something small. Write me, and I would love to keep talking to you. Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Dice. I appreciate you all. Oh, there, it's there. Peace. Okay, bye.
good.